Hey, what's going on YouTube? This is Chaos-Reighn here. Once again, I am here to show you that, how profitable or valuable running these Harbinger maps is. Now, I did say I'd make a video to kind of show that, what they got from the alphas. I did manage to complete all three very easily. However, it wasn't really anything worth mentioning. It was another 2 sextants and 3 chaos. Overall, I think if I were to do if I did my math right, it was about, I think I lost about 2 or 3 chaos on the map or something, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know. I personally felt like I got more than I spent into it, but I could be wrong on my math. So we're gonna go into this next setup. This time we're going to use a gilded scarab, and we're going to use 3 fragments. Now we're doing it this way for a couple of reasons. First and foremost, we want to take advantage of the Scarab's extra Harbingers to potentially give us more Harbingers, and we want to kind of give you an outlook on what you can expect if you do have 4 more Harbingers. So obviously I am going to go over and find some more delirium orbs. This time I'm going to pick a junk one so you guys can kind of see what it's like when you have a junk one. I did have a currency one which could have kind of ghost inflated the amount of drops, and I didn't think about that till after the video was done, so we're just going to put 3 armor ones on these 3. I'm only going to record a video for one of the maps so it's not too long. And let's pick the one with the highest quant, 91 quant, that's fine. Alright, make sure we have rares. Cool. So we're going to do 91 quant, 3 of these, one of these. Now, I'm not too positive on the pricing at this moment, but the last time I checked, they were about 30C in League for console and about 50C for PC. Prices change. I don't really keep up with them. I just kind of, this is standard and I kind of have these things already. So my whole investment and everything like that is kind of, it doesn't really hurt me. I'm just here to kind of show you the science behind why I do what I do. So let's say we use still using regular Harbinger craft and we're using a gilded Harbinger Scarab. Obviously, if you have the infused Harbinger craft from farming your harvest, you can do it that way too. But I'm using the regular one, and I'm going to put Alva on this map too, just so I can, get more loot. Make sure it's right, make sure it has Nemesis, no Reflect. Alright, we're good to go. Now, as you saw in my last video, there was a lot of currency flying everywhere. It was just, stacks and stacks of currency. Our whole inventory was full at one point. We couldn't pick anything else up. We had to drop some items. We even had to drop some currency to pick up other currency. And realistically speaking, if I were to pick up all the 6 sockets, if I were to pick up all the, go back in and pick them all up, I probably would have, pretty much a real big number in comparison to what it was. I think I was out of sync right there because I wasn't doing damage. Like, I started to do damage, but it just felt like I wasn't in that pack to begin with. Make sure I don't have weapons on. Okay. Let's try this again. One of the joys of playing Cyclone is that sometimes you'll start spinning on a rock and you'll end up not being where you were and just end up dying. It happens. Okay. This time let's just walk over here. Ah, there we go. That's much better. Now, like I did before, I am not gonna loot until everything is all killed and everything like that. as you see, you get a lot of currency while you do these harbingers. Let me turn off my loot so I can see the enemies. I can't see the enemies with all that loot going off. I'd like to be done with this one harbinger pack soon. Oh, it's finally done. Alright, cool. What about this one? Is this one going to be a super one, or is it just going to be over quick? That one was over really quick. And it looks like we have another unmaking. I believe unmakings are still about 10-15 C each. They could be a little less, a little more, but that's, considering we found 2 unmakings in 2 maps, I think that's pretty solid. Especially with how much we're using unmakings in standard right now. It looks like I'm out of sync again. Yep, definitely was out of sync. Alright.
I can't do this just yet.
There's another harbinger. Oh boy, this is a problem. Looks like a big one. And we have a boss. Alright, well, hi Kosis. Looks like Kosis is gonna give us some issues. Luckily, we have a bunch of headhunter buffs that we can just kind of do this. Say so, please. Me, not Kosis. I'm trying to kill Kosis, but I'm just running everywhere. We definitely had a boss harbinger on the boss, so that's pretty cool. Well, that wasn't even the boss. We're just at another set of harbingers. Alright, so now let's continue on with the rest of the map. What about you? Are you going to give me bosses too, or is this just random? Yeah, you're done. Is this a boss one? Nope, it wasn't. Now, if you're confused on what my setup is to get these drops, I'll turn loot on so you guys can see as I go. If you're confused as to setup to get the amount of drops I have or I've been getting, please look at my last videos that I posted, both pertaining to this method. This is actually the third video. The second video I have also uploaded today, but I wanted to upload it as a second one just to kind of show you what it's like when you have an extra harbinger scarab on. In comparison to my last video where I, you know, it was a lot of currency, a lot of loot, but there was a little bit less on harbingers, this one feels like it's just more all around. What do we have here?
Ready to revisit the past. The more you kill, the more you change my name. And the closer we get to
Change to jewelers. Just gonna go up. We'll do all the alvas and then we can come back for anything else. Doesn't look like there's a lot of rares in this one though. It's unfortunate. Sometimes they're packed with rares, sometimes you only get like 2 or 3. Now I do recommend running Alva on these because Alva is extremely useful for just the overall internal quantity she gives, and she helps you get your delirium rewards up another stage sometimes 2, and depending on how juicy your map is, if you have beyond and stuff spawning in it. See if I can, so let's start looting from the end here. As you can kind of see, the extra harbinger that you get from the sextant mod and the extra, that's lockpicking, we'll pick that up too. The extra harbingers from the scarabs definitely help. It gives you a basically a huge turning point in what how much currency you can make an hour, and the investment is well cheaper than the investment to do the same method via the Harbinger nodes. Now, I haven't had a chance to roll them yet, but I do want to try a similar method using 4 of the watchstones that have a chance for a Chaos Orbs to drop as a stack of 10. And the reason why I want to do that is because even though the extra currency pop is nice, I want to see what it would be like if I have roughly 4% chance that my Chaos Orbs just drop in stacks of 10, and how much more profit that would be versus getting a random like extra alchemy or chance orb or whatever. Even though sometimes it will be a chaos, it's there's so much currency that I can just drop transmutes. Now, of course, I forgot to mention in my last video that simulacrum spinners. So we are doing 1-orb maps, and even though we're doing 1-orb maps, we usually come out with about, I'd like to say 15-20 spinners, sometimes a little less, sometimes a little more. It's really all RNG. Every time you get one of these big Harbinger packs, a lot of those times you're gonna get a lot of spinners, at least like 5 per Harbinger pack. And then you get them throughout your map as you kill things, so you end up walking out with a pretty fair share of simulacrum spinners. And I'm unsure how much those are right now, but if you can add those up in the math and to try and get your final number of how much currency you're going to be making per hour versus your investment. Now, obviously, there is a way to go even one step even further and get, like, I think it's 4 more Harbingers, and that's the Winged Harbinger Scarab. But I think they're relatively expensive right now, and they are extremely rare. So, especially since Harvest is pretty doo-doo and no one's doing it. So, yeah. Just kind of a heads up. If you get it, you want to do it, go for it, but I wouldn't go out of my way to buy it, that's for sure. It's definitely not in a buyable price range for me anytime soon.
Just in time. Ah, there you are.
I want
Ready to
that.
revisit
Oh,
the
I don't
past?
have a corruption gem. I thought I
The
did.
more you kill, the more you change my map.
Alright, we're gonna go up.
It's time.
Just quickly dispatch this boss. So in my last map, if you remember, I also had Beyond on it. So I had a lot more rare spawning. That could also be a factor into your currency farming, but the way I see it is usually when you have that low, just 1 Beyond chance, and then you don't have Beyond in your map device or anything, it's kind of, negligible. You're not going to notice that much of a difference. Maybe an extra... Oh, we got a vaal reliquary key. I'm gonna link that in global. So, that being said, let me find... There it is. Another Alva. We have Unmaking, some Sextants, more Chaos Orbs, more alterations.
Just in time.
Looks like we found some more enemies, so we're just going to quickly dispatch them all. Alright. So, as I said before, we are estimating about using 100 sextants, if my math is right. maybe a little less, maybe a little more. I am unsure on the exact math, sorry. And we used, I'd like to say 50 chaos. If you're pricing in league prices, the sextants would have been about 4,500 C, so 3-4x. Um, you can you can probably
I believe
get.
in treading light.
Oh, we got a veiled chaos orb, and that's like a couple X by itself. Wow. All right then. That's exciting. I don't know how much they are in League. I know they're really really useful and really cool, but I have no idea what they are in League. But yeah, this is a pretty good run. Obviously, the reliquary key we're not going to calculate into our overall loot pool, but we will calculate everything else just to kind of get you guys you know
I
get you
believe in
guys
treading light.
a look at what you're gonna get in return for these. Alright, what do we have? Alright, so let's go ahead and bank everything real quick so we can come back in. Now, if we're looking at the pure currency value, just in the value of the Veiled Chaos Orb, the value of the currency itself, the value of the unmaking orbs we've gotten, and the raw value of the chaos, I'd like to say I've made probably 20-something%. No, sorry, I'd made like 60-something% of the chaos I spent rolling Nemesis on my maps, and I've made a lot of currency in alts, made a lot of currency on makings, and I made a Veiled Chaos Orb as a little bit of a bonus. So I'm okay with that. On top of that, that was 20 splinters, as you saw there. If you're looking at semis, they're about 2-3x. 20 splinters is about, let's see, I'm unsure. I don't know what the math is on PC, but I know that on console they're like 2-3x for a simulacrum, and 20 splinters would basically be worth like 50C or something like that, 30C. They're 120C right now in console market PS4. But that being said, if we're doing pure Exalt calculation, we spent easily 4x, I'd like to say, in Sextant's Chaos, and like everything spent, including the maps rolled and everything like that. Just off the Veiled Chaos Orb, we got something back. Remember, Veiled Chaos Orb is still currency. It still counts as an enemy dropping an extra currency, so you can drop multiples of those in a map, and it is a very high possibility that you get at least one in a map. So let's see what their prices are. 1x, 1x, 1x. See, that's not bad considering 1 chaos. I don't think that guy's gonna take it, but let's see. Let's see if see what he says. But yeah, 1x per is still not bad. Basically, 1 orb pays for pretty much everything I needed to pay for. You're offering me 1x on this. Near perfect, no catalyst. 5. No, 3. He wants to offer 20 on my Herald of Agony. Legacy ring. Interesting. Alright. So, to round off this video, I am going to do this is my second ever Vaal Reliquary Key, and let's see what we get, and maybe we get something cool. You never know. Like there's a lot of really cool looking stuff. Our last time we only got the time ring, whatever it is, time something ring. So 3, 2, 1. Ooh, okay. We got ourselves a soul thirst. Wait, is this Legacy? Like, is this Betrayal League Legacy? Hold on. Cause... Okay, so I thought let me see. I don't know too much. I think this is just pretty. Either way, this is a really cool belt. It's really pretty. I like the blue and greenish tint, so it really is something. Anywho, thank you for joining me again on my adventures. As you saw, we did get a pretty big chunk of currency. Whether we made a full profit back or not will probably depend on the next two maps. But as I said before, on my first map, I had absolutely zero kind of, what do you call it, scarab. So I did lose 4 harbinger packs, which means, you know, I'm not getting as much as I can get. However, as I said, the scarab cost currency itself. It actually costs a pretty decent amount of currency. So, you know, use it at your own, excuse me, at your own expenditure when you have the currency to do so, and don't go well out of your way to, you know, don't go well out of your way to burn a lot of stuff, a lot of currency on this if you don't have the currency. Start low, work your way up. Just run the modifier on your atlas and keep going that way. You don't actually necessarily have to force the modifier if you don't want to. Just remember that because you have these watchstones the way they are, see right there, it says rare monsters and areas have chance to drop an additional basic currency item. Remember, this is period. This happens regardless if you have the Nemesis 3 currency or not, regardless if you have Nemesis on your map device, regardless of everything. So I can actually, just as an example, I can actually take this watchstone out altogether, or take the sextant modifier out altogether, and then run it, and I'm still going to drop currency. Now, it's definitely noticeable when you're doing these kind of maps, because even though it's 7%, if I come over here and I'm not going to start it, I'm not going to do a new video. If I come over here and I decide to look at the modifiers, right? Let's go to watchstone modifiers. So down. So if you look at my modifiers, this says rare monsters and areas have 8% chance to drop additional basic currency, but it's not additive. This means there's not a like 24% chance to drop additional currency. What it is rare monsters have 8% chance to drop one, and then another, and then another. Obviously it's not a huge percentage, and obviously these are tier 2 goals. It goes up to 10%, but at 8% you can still notice a pretty decent amount of currency falling with 0 investment. Now I can make a video in a day or two if people do want a follow-up to see what it's like running this method with 0 investment, but I'm not gonna sit down for another 2 maps. I do appreciate you joining me, and I really appreciate you sticking around this long, if you are, to kind of you know, pick my brain a little more, and just to kind of get used to and to understand what my method is. Now, these were all 20%. What I have been doing is 40%, and that's because the rarity is a little higher, and you end up getting a little bit more. Just this one's 60%. You end up getting a little more loot, in my opinion. Not a whole lot more, but it's definitely more than the loot, more than the currency that you spend putting onto the Delirium Orb map. So take it easy, everyone. I do hope I do watching in the chat. I do hope that everyone is appreciative of, you know, these videos, and even more so, I hope it helps people. I hope people kind of get used to and are, you know, liking the method of farming for harbingers, and if it's helpful for you, then please feel free to let me know. And if you ever have a request of a video, let me know. I take video requests, and pretty soon here I am going to be streaming. Again, I will plug my Twitch. I will put a link and everything like that officially on my YouTube probably later this week, because I do plan on doing a more of a global kind of streaming / everything else kind of situation. I plan on hopefully having a computer set up if I can to, you know, get actual streaming and actual editing going, but for now I just have to post videos straight off my console, unfortunately. Without further ado, if this has been helpful, please like, please comment, and tell your friends. This is Chaos-Reighn, and I appreciate you staying with me this long and hearing me repeat myself 5 times. Have a good one, everyone.